All right, ladies and gents, we are officially live. Going live on a Sunday, bored. The significant other is on a phone call with someone for an hour. So while on this live, I'll be increasing my typing speed for fun. Don't really have video games, so anyways, feel free to drop any cues. Happy to answer any cues while this is going. I am just doing some fun stuff, improving typing speed. Samuel James, hello. How are you? Sean Matthew, hello, friend. Hello, hello, hello. Things are good. Just bored on a Sunday. This is the significant other day. So Nicole's on a phone call with a friend, so I decided to go live for a bit for fun while type. Dr. Gonzo, hello. It is a pleasure to meet you. Is it just... If you guys have any cues, feel free to drop them in the box. I'm actually just typing, trying to start a typing game to improve typing speed. Just trying to figure out how to get it started. Typing jungle. There it is. Man, where the fuck is it? Here. Permission marketing versus interruption. Samuel, I'm not going to lie. That's the first time I've heard of that. I think I understand what you mean by permission marketing. I'm assuming that's more of a less invasive, friendly approach where it's like, hey, do you mind if I send you something? Opposed to interruption, which is where it's like, I'm sending you this and I'm going to call you and interrupt you. I think it's worth testing both. And it just is worth figuring out which one works best for your given target ideal client. Yeah. To be honest. Thoughts on number of minimum outreach per day? Yeah, you want to balance quality and quantity, definitely. But we have taken more of a qualitative approach rather than quantitative. I mean, at the end of the day, it's you just figure out something that works and then you maximize it until it doesn't work. Trojan horse marketing for us has worked well. And we don't really need to send more than 10 to 15 a day, 200 to 300 a month. And that should land at least a 3 to 5% call booking rate. So you're looking at 3 to 6 to 5 to 10 potential discovery calls with ideal prospects. I mean, that's more than enough. But that's, for our niche. So maybe in a different niche, quantitative is more important than qualitative, because for us, our clients are more higher ticket. Everything's contextual, So it's easier to kind of understand life when you constantly think about context. Like when someone says, is this better than that? Well, it's contextual depending on the goal and the service and the niche and everything else. So yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people will say like, oh, that's terrible. Or like, this is awful, or that's great. And those are all subjective opinions. And so it's interesting when you apply context to not just business, but everything in life. With THM, do you give a freebie? What do you mean by freebie? What software do you use for systems for your employees? We do use Notion. That's like the software used to build a company wiki to store all the training. We recently started using it. I love it. I also built a software wireframe on it recently, and that was amazing. Samuel, with THM, we don't really give anything other than the video itself. So the video itself is the value, right? That would be considered like the ebook or the report. It's a 2-minute video. Tips on overcoming fear of getting on the phone to talk to potential clients. Yeah, limon or lemon. I'm assuming it's limon. Fear is illusion. Walk right through it. Always 24/7. Fear is illusory. I mean, it's just an illusion. So that's a very vague response. I mean, another response is that no one really cares about you as much as you think. And to have fear is kind of ridiculous, especially in the sense of like cold calling. But, a good way to get over fear is just to consistently do whatever you're afraid of. So if you're afraid to cold call someone or get on the phone with somebody, just start cold calling people or cold approaching people. When I was a bit younger and I wasn't in a relationship, I was pretty shy and very introverted and kind of like nervous to talk to girls. So I just started going out to bars and very social places and just cold approaching as many girls as possible to like break through that fear. And the more you did it, the more the fear just like went less and less and less. This is when I was like 18. And it applies in business. The more you cold call, the less you fear it. And it applies with the Amish people, when horses are born, they tie the horse to a lamp post next to the highway. And the horses are scared shitless of the cars passing by. But after like a few days or a week, they're no longer afraid of cars on the road. And that's important because the Amish want to have horses that are not going to freak out when a car drives past them. So subjecting yourself to the thing you're afraid of is ultimately the only way to overcome it. I have a very solid offer, contractual money back guarantee if I don't hit 2x ROAS. Struggling to get responses despite the solid offer. Yeah, you can have a solid offer, but like for who and why? You know, um, you need to make sure that that offer is targeted to a specific type of person with a specific problem that is big enough to where they actually want to even bother risking their time and money with you, right? I mean, even if you said it's free, I'll do it for free and I'll pay for the advertising, that'd be the best offer in the world. You still will probably get tons of rejections if you're not targeting the right ideal client with the right offer at the right time in the right way. So it's a balance of the offer with your approach. Hopefully that helps. I bought your old course from Sean Smith, PPC AMS Accelerator. It's an amazing product. When does your new course come out? Dr. Gonzo, dude, you're in the accelerator. That's really cool. Congrats. Agency Enlightened is taking quite some time to build. Gonzo, I've been building it now for a few months. Actually, pretty much years. It's going to be done in probably 5 to 6 months, to be honest with you. It'll be released to everyone who joined like a year ago. It's going to be released in a couple weeks, but they're only getting access to week 1, which is like agency mindset, personal mindset, and agency fundamentals, niche, service, blue ocean strategy, so defining your ideal client avatar, stuff like that. Week 1 is focused on that stuff, the fundamentals. And then week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and week 6 are going to be released over the next 3 to 4 to potentially 5 months. What happened to the book? It's in the back. Yeah, moving houses. That's why it's fucking chaos in here. Apologize if anybody here is underage. Sometimes I'll swear. Limon, thank you. Taylor, I'm looking into a lot of niches right now. I'm having trouble choosing one, not knowing which one is viable for the times. What should the criteria be for me choosing a niche? Extra info, I sell paid advertising. I'm looking to start and scale an agency this year. Niche selection's an interesting conversation. It's just something where you should go and watch the YouTube video talking about how to select a niche. It's one of the first YouTube videos I ever made. And there's dimensions of niches that you can select, like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. And if you're just starting out, I really do recommend like a level 3 niche, potentially even more narrow. But it depends on the market as well. You have to make sure it's not so narrow that there's not enough ideal clients. But watch that video. That'll help you. What's your opinion on cold calls? Yeah, it works for some niches and some people. Other niches, it doesn't work as well. But at the end of the day, you can get clients in lots of different ways. And it ultimately comes down to your preference, to be honest with you. Once you figure out who your ideal client is, you realize you can get them in multiple different ways. We chose to slow down on outbound marketing because of what we felt it was going to do to our brand. And we didn't want to be perceived a certain way. So it doesn't mean that we completely stopped it. We still do cold outbound in a certain way. We're probably going to do direct mail testing this year. That'll be really cool. Retargeting ads, top of funnel, inbound type marketing, but specifically targeting companies we've mined in an outbound fashion, like prospects. Like we've built a list of 1,000 people and now we're going to plug them into like LinkedIn ads. We've never played around with ads, to be honest with you. So this will be interesting, testing this kind of stuff. When do you see online marketing? Where do you see online marketing changing over the next 20 to 50 years? I have no idea. I'd have to be God to answer that question, Reese. I'm far from that, so in a certain sense. But 20 years is a long time, man. Long time. 20 years ago, it was the year of 2000 and the internet was barely a thing. So there might be like a whole nother internet that I can't even imagine what the internet might look like. We may have some serious augmented reality. I think we're going to have some serious augmented reality. And that's going to be interesting. Like how we navigate the internet will be more so in an interactive AR type reality where like you can put on a virtual headset and VR headset and then like try on the clothes you want to try on and like shop on Amazon. And just like on your phone, how you can see where like you can like position the couch that you want to buy on Amazon in your living room with augmented reality, or you can try on sunglasses by just selecting the sunglasses, then it'll augmented reality put them on your face. Think of that times like a million, and then how paid ads is going to look in that kind of reality. I think internet's still going to be a thing. It's just going to be in a different format, in the sense that like it's not so much going to be a screen, it's going to be what looks like an actual reality within augmented reality, if that makes sense. Dr. Gonzo, first client for your agency, how was the sales process? Yeah, first client was amazing. Sales process was very easy. Actually, just because I was posting in Facebook groups and did a podcast episode, and the client listened to the podcast episode and was like, hey, I would love to work with you. It was an inbound lead, so it was a very, very easy sale. Do you think focusing on and following politics is a waste of time? Yes, I do. I got really wrapped up into the election in the US for like a week or two, maybe like 2 or 3 actually, because that thing didn't really end. It was like mail-in ballots being counted, and it was a total waste of time. I mean, I think it's good to just pop in once a month, maybe scroll through, make sure nothing crazy is happening. But honestly, at the end of the day, like if something really crazy is going to happen that you should know about, politically speaking, that's going to affect you in a very major way, you're going to hear about it through friends and family, or like people that you just talk to, and they'll tell you. I've learned that personally, where just like my mom or dad will be like, this happened, blah, blah, blah. Or my brother will send me something. And honestly, unless you have like billions of dollars or your job is related to something to do with politics, I mean, why would you follow it? It doesn't really impact your life as much as people would think. Yeah, you got to pay taxes. You might have to pay a bit more or a bit less depending on who gets elected. The thing that I would say concerns me the most is if I found out that they were going to force everyone in Panama City to take a vaccine, I would probably get the hell out of the city. Not to say the vaccines are bad, but it's not my preference to take that vaccine, or any vaccine for that matter. Probably just lost some subscribers saying that, but I don't care. Shit. Do you think focusing on and following politics is a waste of time? Yeah, sorry. I do think it is. I wanted your input on how many markets are compromised because of COVID, and how should I go about making sure a certain niche is COVID proof? Yeah, I mean, just it's pretty obvious if the niche is COVID proof. You just don't do anything related to travel. Anything related to like local restaurant marketing is very difficult. Like doctors, private medi centers and dentistries is still a good bet, because these are necessities of life. Those things aren't going to go away. I mean, thousands of people need, dental work done, and doctors and So it depends on the type of local market, I guess, but also just e-commerce in general. Like e-commerce there's millions of niches within e-commerce. Maybe not millions, but at least 100,000 plus. And those are all good bets, especially if they're related to like, and in this case, something that helps prevent COVID or whatever else. But e-commerce in general, right? Because people are now avoiding going to the store, and they're probably ordering more stuff online than ever before. Where did you learn Amazon PPC? Pedro. YouTube. I learned from YouTube. And that was it, man. No experience. What are you reading at the moment, Taylor? I'm reading Ego is the Enemy. Wow, that's a good book. Yes, it is. Stefano. Ryan Holiday, I believe, Ego is the Enemy. That's a great book. I would also read How to Become an Adult. And I would read Letting Go by Dr. David R. Hawkins. Ryan it's a good book, but he positions the ego as the enemy. And it's kind of like a good title for a book that sells. So that's great. But the ego is not evil. It's not bad. It's just there through evolutionary purposes of allowing us to, advance to where we currently are. And it's just innate within the species of, Homo sapiens and humans. So like, it has to be looked at, it has to be understood. And once it's understood, you shouldn't like consider it an enemy or hate it. You just understand it and realize that it's just a part of your body that can be controlled or can be let loose and cause total havoc. But yeah, great book. Currently I'm reading Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. It's pretty good. I've actually read a few chapters a year ago and then dropped off. Dr. Gonzo, I wouldn't take the freaking vaccine myself. Cool. Yeah, if anybody wants to look into research on vaccines in general, my little brother had a bunch of vaccines, and he never had vaccines as a baby. He was always super healthy, but then before coming to Panama, he got a bunch of vaccines, a couple or a few, I think. And dude, he had this crazy infection started going, eating away at the bone in his arm. And he had to get an intense surgery done. And his bone in that section was getting like eroded away by something that was in the vaccine. And then I started researching into what is in vaccines and why a vaccine would cause something as crazy as that. And the more you go into the rabbit hole of looking at the potential harms of vaccines, the more you're like, holy shit. Look, I don't think all vaccines are bad. I just think that a lot of them are made poorly. And there's a guy, I forget his name. Let me pull up his name for everybody. He does tremendous research on vaccines. What's his name? I think it's JFK's son. Kennedy Jr. Yeah, Kennedy Jr. Amazing guy, and you should follow him on Instagram, or just scroll through his Instagram. Look at some of the articles he's written and the doctors he has on staff that study vaccines, and it's pretty wild. If dark matter attracts and dark energy repels, don't you think that we're stuck in a loop of Big Bang and singularity, and you've done this live stream a million times? I do think that there are parallel realities and infinite timelines. I think time is very fluid and I guess you could say flexible. But am more on the spiritual side of a big bang not just occurring out of nowhere, but of divine order, I guess you could say. There was divinity was involved in whatever it was, and in a human vessel, we'll never understand how or why, but it's all belief. But I've experienced some crazy shit, like out of body experiences, where when you experience that kind of stuff, you're just like, yeah, this world is not just material. The life goes far beyond this life. Like, you're gonna die, and that what you're gonna enter after death is just, dude. These out of body experiences, like out of this physical body, is blissful and pretty insane. How beautiful it is. So yeah, have an out of body experience, and then you'll go from potentially believing in nothing coming after the life to definitely there is something after life. But yeah, Leonard De Beer, loving the content you're putting out. Thank you, much love. Limon, are you against using white label PPC services for your agency? Not really, but we've tried it in the past and it hasn't really worked out well, so we kind of just stay away from it. Pedro, how do you focus? Best practices: get 8 hours of sleep, drink lots of water, eat healthy, work out at least 4 to 5 times a week, and meditate first thing in the morning. Don't open your phone. Don't check your email. Pretty simple stuff, honestly. And then plan your day before you go to sleep. So plan tomorrow before you go to sleep. Ideally, you can kind of plan out the week, and you already have a bigger vision of the months and the quarter and the year. Do you think Sam Evans' course is still worth it for getting started? Absolutely. It's the best course that I can possibly think of if you want to start an agency or any type of service-based business. In a few years, maybe a couple, 2 to 3, I would love to launch a course that is positioned as how to start an agency. But for the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to focus on how to scale an agency from, like, 5,000-10,000 a month to 100,000 a month plus. Ideally 500 to $1 million per month, if we can get there. If we can get there, I'll claim that the course can help. Trojan Horse marketing video is a game changer. Cool. I'm glad you like it. I love it too. What do you think about the virus vaccine? Is it planned by evil entities or Bill Gates, NWO asking for a friend? Lol, not crazy. Yeah, I've gone down the conspiracy rabbit hole of, like, the deep state, the cabal, and like there's the I don't know what it's called, the alien community. I forget what they're called. Went pretty deep into that rabbit hole in 2019. And there's some real shit that you just can't deny it. Like, there is Navy admirals and generals coming forward and being like, yeah, during World War II, this happened, and I have reports of this, and I saw this, I did this, and there's other people that have actual proof, not in like a video format, but with documents. And the CIA's released stuff and declassified stuff that verifies some things that some people have said. I think in the coming 10 to 20 years, there's going to be some insane disclosure from the, I guess you could call it, hidden higher up army, if you want to call that. I think it was Dwight Eisenhower that started MK Ultra, Majestic 12, which then evolved into like the SSP and a bunch of other stuff and a ton of crazy stuff. So I think, yes, there is a lot of stuff that will be disclosed. Is the virus vaccine evil? I don't know. I would, I personally can't tell you yes or no, but I intuitively don't want to take it. When you run ads on Facebook, what type of delivery do you go for? We don't run any ads on Facebook, Samuel, yet. Hopefully we'll get them set up this year. Advice on pricing services. I run an Amazon PPC agency too. I saw your video on pricing. How do we know the value we can provide when starting out? You got to build a forecasting tool, Leonard. It's It's something I built a few years ago, and it was just tremendously valuable. It helps us forecast how much we think we can increase the sales of the Amazon business, or just business that we're looking at. And if we forecast we can increase their sales by $100,000 a month, we'll happily charge $4, $5, $6, $7, potentially $10,000 per month. And it also just depends on, how much data you have. Sometimes you can't forecast something if you don't have much data. But forecasting, creating an audit forecasting tool is extremely helpful. I'm going to run and grab a smoothie. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Look at this. Got a special guest, ladies and gents. This is Wisdom. Wisdom, say hello. All right, I'll be right back. 30 seconds. I'm going to grab a smoothie. I'll let Wisdom steal the show. Hello. When does Agency Enlighten come out officially? I don't even want to give a date at this point. I've said many times, about 4 to 5 months. I finished week 1, almost finished week 1, and I'm getting uploaded into the actual UI, program UI. It's launching for those who were in Legion Enlightened, who joined Legion Enlightened last year. It's launching at the end of this month in a week, but they're only getting access to what's currently available. And then once the full thing is done, everybody who wants to join, who isn't in it, can join. Specific food types for a healthy diet. It's pretty simple, just like meat, carbs, greens. I haven't done a whole lot of testing with foods, although I did get a Viome test done on my gut to see what foods I should avoid. But I just tell the chef to buy really healthy food, ideally all organic, and balance out, vegetables with carbs and protein. Bomb Clan, can't wait to see it come out. I'm also excited. I think we're going to run YouTube ads to market Agency Enlightened. I hope that doesn't devalue the channel. If anything, I'm going to try to do the ads in a very, I guess, different, more value-centric approach that's not so crazy in your face, because it's kind of the style that I would prefer. But yeah, YouTube ads is, I think, how we're going to market the program if we really want to scale it beyond organic. Gregory, thoughts on joining a small agency with a good friend you've already contributed to as a small equity partner compared to starting out on your own? Yeah. Go for it. I think it's fine as long as it's the right person. Just understand that it's truly a marriage. So you better love them, and they better complement. They should be the opposite of you, to be honest with you. Don't have a business partner that's exactly like you. That's kind of useless. You should have somebody that's literally the complete opposite. Read Rocket Fuel. It's a good book. Have you ever done psychedelics? No, I have not, but I've done meditations that have led to out-of-body experiences, so probably similar. I tried meditating in the morning after breakfast. I got sleepy. Yeah, that's fine. That's kind of normal. I had a discussion with a friend if it's possible growing an agency with more than 100 plus employees. His point was that it's not possible if all employees are working from home. What's your thoughts? Dr. Gonzo, yeah, he's wrong. There is tons of virtual agencies with 100 plus employees. Sage Tree, I think, is one of them. Dude, there's so many companies that are virtual with probably thousands of employees now with COVID. It's crazy. There's tons of companies. Just go look for them. They're everywhere. I hear about entrepreneurs that are getting ready to move to countries outside of the West. What do you think about it? I don't know. I haven't heard about that personally. I mean, I'm really happy in Panama. NASCO M. Have I considered making a video going deeper into inbound marketing? Yeah, but like if I'm gonna go really deep, it's just gonna be an agency Enlighten, because like YouTube, I try to go deep sometimes, and Trojan Horse Marketing was like very deep. But making content like that takes tremendous amounts of time, and it's kind of not worth the ROI that comes out of just putting it out for free on YouTube. So also, if I put everything on YouTube, there would be no value to Agency Enlightened. Vegan smoothie. Yes, it is. How did you design your forecasting tool? I run a PPC audit at the moment so far and often find a lot of wasted ad spend. Yeah, wasted ad spend is easy to calculate. We look at you run the same agency as us, right? Amazon PPC. You have to look at the UCSTs, which is the unique customer search terms, and then apply a multiple percentage that you think is fair to the sales attributed from those UCSTs to figure out approximately what the sales percentage increase would be, and then also factor in the percentage of ad revenue relative to what is a healthy percentage of ad revenue. And you can look at that on a SKU by SKU basis or an account basis. You should look at it from all sorts of different angles. There's a lot of different ways, but those are a few of the most important ways. What do you do when more than one prospect asks you if you have a guarantee on the sales call? It depends. If you have a lot of social proof and experience, I mean, you can basically just tell them like, we have a policy that you can cancel at any point and just give us a 30-day notice. But we don't offer guarantees like money back ever now. In the beginning, if you're starting out, yeah, sure, go for it. Potentially even do work for free, you know? But guarantees, yeah, it's an interesting one. If you're just starting out, I think absolutely that's fine. You can guarantee 100% money back if they're not happy after the first month, if that's even possible for you. If you're doing SEO, you shouldn't really do something like that because it takes longer than a month to get results. Hyper Gamer, what is going on, dude? I don't know if we've ever connected live. What to do when more than one prospect asks you, what is your onboarding process for new Amazon PPC clients? Leonard coming in hot with the questions. Gregory, that's awesome. Congrats. Best site and way to hire a VA, onlinejobs.ph. I'm flying to Panama next month. Is there any way we can meet for lunch or dinner? John Henry. Possibly for coffee on a Sunday. How long are you here for? And when? If the girlfriend's cool with me taking like 20, 30 minutes to just go for a coffee, I don't really mind. Although I'm quite introverted and I don't really like hanging out with people. No offense, John. But I can socialize decently. Let me know when you're here. Dr. Gonzo, do you still go surfing? Yes. I mean, Panama's in lockdown, so I can't, but love surfing. Hypergamer. I learned on YouTube. I just watched YouTube videos and listened to a bunch of like podcasts and found all the free resources I could. Pedro, I'm moving houses, so the books are gone. We're moving next week. VA average cost depends. Full-time average $600 a month to $700 a month. Part-time, divide that by 2, and yes, absolutely worth it if you have some monotonous work that they can help you with. Bomb Clan. If you're just getting them appointments, guarantee the appointments, and I wouldn't really guarantee the clients signed, because them closing deals is up to them. And as long as they're honest about the quality of the calls that you get them, you know, they should be willing to pay for your services still, even if they don't close anybody. So try not to guarantee too much, just guarantee enough to where it's fair. Move to Ecuador. I like Panama. Never been to Ecuador. What should be the least CBR call booking rate when you're starting with THM? At a minimum, 1%. Do you have customers in Panama? No. We could have signed a client, but I didn't want to deal with the tax. If we sign somebody in Panama, then we have to deal with like paying tax, and I don't want to have to go through that. It's not worth it. Yes. I don't know if I can share my screen in lives. I don't think you can. No. Be cool if I could, but I can't. Yeah. Well, this has been beautiful. I appreciate everybody's time and questions, and I am going to have fun playing this typing game, improving my typing skills. It's called typingclub.com. It's really good. Google actually bought the company, I think. And it's crazy. You can increase your words per minute, your WPM, very quickly. Like just by practicing typing with this course for like just a few hours, you can improve your WPM by like 20, 30%. I mean, do the math on that, the amount of time that you'll save. I know you can use dictations and stuff like that for typing, but like you can't dictate everything, at least I find. So really cool little software. Pedro, on Amazon, just YouTube it. There's thousands of videos talking about how to see the sales. You can use a tool called Jungle Scout. Tells you how much sales. How much do you think a service-based business can scale in 5 years in terms of MRR? $1 million a month? You can get to $1 million a month in 5 years. Client Boost is a company that did that. They've reached $1 million a month in 5 years. And at some points, they had 50% margins, ladies and gentlemen. I laugh because Sam Ovens talks about how service-based businesses don't scale. I mean, it's funny because Sam's doing about $1 million a month, 50% net profit margins. And I think that's before tax. And this is an agency doing $1 million a month that has had 50% profit margins. I think they've decreased it now, and they did it in 5 years. So Dr. Gonzo, you're a cool dude. Thanks for the time. Thank you so much as well for your time. Leonard, thank you for your time. Much love, you guys. This was amazing. I'll see you guys next week.